Ladies and gentlemen, we now have the last lecture of day 3 that features Dr. J.S. Hidamat, Director Cath Lab of Ruby Hall Clinic in Pune, on the reversal of coronary artery disease. I'd like to invite Dr. Livlin from UK to kindly share the proceedings along with Drs. Lingam and Professor Aarti Lalchandani. Dr. Hidamat will have 11 minutes.
The probability of a coin tossed up standing vertical is so much, and so is regression of coronary atherosclerosis. In practice, we have noticed that there is practically nobody who thinks that coronary arteries get a reversal of atherosclerosis. However, the questions to address in the next 11 minutes are: is reversal of coronary artery disease possible? Is it a reality? If yes, is it clinically relevant? Why the progress towards attempts to reversal are slow or unsuccessful? What is it, the role of treating clinician in reversal of coronary artery disease? And what does the PEEP in future look like? We'll address these questions one by one, as is reversal of coronary artery disease possible or reality? In 1998, American Journal of Medicine carried this article of non-invasive management and reversal treatment, a new paradigm for CAD. By that time, actually, statins were not even 10 years old. And in that time, Dr. Dean Ornish floated this idea of regression of coronary artery disease. Dr. Manchanda, Dr. Gupta here in India have done a lot of work. And we also in Pune came up with Dr. Dean Ornish's Indian version and created this kind of a program, and it's been running for last 20 years. We know from experimental studies that in carotid arteries, you have a 3D MRI construction. On your left is a critical stenosis, but a high-dose rosuvastatin over a period of 15 months leads to clear-cut regression of atherosclerosis. So these are proofs, minor proofs, which indicate that yes, it is possible to reverse, and how do we go about it? Asteroid trial also clearly showed that there was regression possible with rosuvastatin. Various other studies came up showing quantitative coronary angiography, and Asteroid, again to your bottom left, showed that if you reduce the LDL levels well below 70, then there is a good chance that you might improve the diameter of the coronary stenosis, indicating that there was coronary regression of coronary atherosclerosis. And so on and so forth. There are many studies related to atorvastatin and rosuvastatin with high dose, with good reduction in LDL levels, leading to regression of atheroma. However, we are used to seeing angiography with angioplasty. 90% lesion becomes 100%. That is what we think of is regression of atherosclerosis. That is not what probably we are looking at. In these small trials, yellow trial, which shows the atheroma burden, the yellow plaques or the yellow globules have completely reduced in the second version, within 6 to 8 weeks, indicating that yes, it is possible to get the atheroma volume getting regressed. And that's why I want to show you a macroscopic picture which we are all used to it. This was one of our participants in our program from Pune Hospital. Believe me, this time there were no statins on board, only pure lifestyle change based on strict diet, exercise, yoga, meditation, pranayam, and all the other aspects which we know of. After 15 months, watch the yellow arrow, it becomes regress. So whatever is noticeable to the naked eye is almost 10 to 15% reversal. All the other trials are talking of microscopic reversal, small little reversal, but here is the angiographic evidence of actual reversal of coronary atherosclerosis. So let's say that yes, it is possible. It is possible on small percentages. Then if it is so, then is it clinically relevant? You regress the atheroma only to so much, so whether it is clinically relevant or not. The top bottom diagram is a coronary artery, no stenosis. From the left side, blood enters, right side it comes out. Say, let's say unit of 5 enters from the left, comes out from the other side as 5. 50% stenosis, no change in the blood flow. 75% stenosis, still no change of blood flow. But at a critical juncture between 75 to 81 or 72 to 75, just 5% change can lead to a sudden flow limitation, and a person who was exercising yesterday can become symptomatic today. But you attempt a mini reversal from all these attempts of high dose rosuvastatin, good lifestyle change, adequate motivation, mental change, stress management, and it leads to a mini reversal from 80 to 75, from 80 and suddenly you find the flow is enormously increased because the flow depends on the fourth power of the diameter of the artery. So if you increase the diameter just by 5%, the flow improvement is so much that it leads to remarkable symptomatic relief and also leads to probably normal thallium stress test, indicating thereby our role is there. Even if you achieve this mini reversal, it is going to help our patients improve their symptoms and maybe prevent their myocardial infarction. Because in the process of attempting a reversal, you are stabilizing the plaque. The plaque becomes more fibrotic, becomes more firm, there are less fat globules, the fibrous cap is thicker, there is no denudation, there is no spasm, there is no thrombus. So suddenly this person becomes better when you are attempting a reversal. Here was one of our patients, a critical proximal LAD lesion, participated in the program, refused to undergo any kind of intervention or bypass that time. After 15 months, angiographically there was hardly any change you could see, but thallium stress was completely normal, indicating that there was good flow down the artery and you could manage him well. His risk of developing MI is very low because if the thallium stress, this is going to be normal. Here was a personal friend of mine who came with an inferior wall MI, and this is my hand-drawn diagram from 1997. And you can see that various 100% right coronary artery, the obtuse marginal is 90%, the diagonal is 90%, LAD is 75%. I advised him to undergo bypass surgery. He refused it. After 11 years of just lifestyle modification and good medical management, this is again my own hand-drawn diagram, collateralized right coronary artery, LAD lesion hardly seen, diagonal has regressed from 90 to 70 or not much. The OM lesion still continues and there is hardly any new lesion. After 11 years, if you could achieve this kind of a result, a person who is exercising daily and running 5 kilometers, it's a better job than even a bypass surgery. Of course, anecdotes don't make science, but I'm here just to spur you to lead in this direction and think of something better for the patient. However, why is the progress towards attempts of reversal slow and successful? Because the regression is very minimal and it can be frustrating. So there are some things which we are completely unaware of. This is a photograph I took from a plane, a sunset happening at the feet of 30,000 feet. So we don't know what's happening. We don't know what's happening. And same thing about atherosclerosis. We don't know the etiology. We know lots about the sun. We know about the sunset. We know about the clouds. But what happens, what is the real etiology or what is the main source of sun, we don't know. Similarly, in atherosclerosis, we talk of so many other things, but we don't know the etiology, and that's why the attempts are not very successful. The other thing that happens is watch the positive remodeling of the artery. In the left-hand side of the artery, you see that the blue lumen of the artery is smaller, and the purple is the atheroma. On the right-hand side, you see the atheroma in fact has increased. And because of positive remodeling, the lumen size also has increased from blue to yellow. You can see the improved. So if you study this patient with a luminogram, like an angiogram, your artery is going to look better. And you are not thinking whether the atheroma is regressed or not. So luminograms like angiography is not going to help you study regression of atherosclerosis. You need complex investigations like the intravascular ultrasound, and doing it in every patient, doing it even as a research tool, it's going to be very expensive and very costly. You need tools like this atheroma intravascular ultrasound, wherein you see again the same thing, the volume or the intralumen looks bigger and the atheroma looks worse, and that's why you need other investigations to measure. The fourth question was, if we have this background that yes, it can regress, mini regression can help the patient, and investigations are very difficult. So what is the role of the treating clinician in regressing atherosclerosis? My own feeling is that be convinced that it can happen and go all out for it. Help your patients achieve this regression. Because we are dealing with a risk that is maybe all the risk factors, leads to a disease called atherosclerosis and leads to events because of progression of the disease. At every level we can do that as treating physician. We can maintain risk factors better. If there is a disease, arrest the progression or try to reverse it. And maybe when it occurs to events, there are interventional cardiologists like us who can deal with that. But every clinician, starting from the housewife to general practitioners and even leading practitioners, must aim at regression of atherosclerosis. We've started this program 20 years ago in Pune Hospital, and I'm it's my own folly that I have not been able to publish the data. I see that many other publishers have done a very good job. But we firmly believe in this, that at the bottom you see adequate scientific drugs like good dose of statins, aspirin, a yogic way of life, correct diet, exercise, and no tobacco, periodic check for parameters, and finally you will reach the topmost yellow triangle, that is the Satori, or the ultimate pleasure that you think of. What parameters can you manage? Your weight has to be BMI under 23, blood pressure under 140/90, sugars well controlled, total cholesterol below 150, LDL below 70, or at least 50% of reduction of the original value. Control B12, vitamin D3, and CRPHs. If all these factors are well controlled, there is a good chance that at least you will stop the worsening of the atheroma, and regression is also possible. Here was one of our index cases where I've been showing this slide for many years. He refused to undergo an angioplasty, almost 95% very critical lesion, proximal LAD. After 15 months of only lifestyle and statins, his artery looks like this. It is a clear regression. He has almost a normal thallium stress test, and this story is going back almost 19 years. He is now 86 years old and still performs very simple postures like this, and he is a master in meditation and so many other things, and doing on a very active life even at the age of 86. There are alternative therapies which claim, whether it is Ayurveda, whether it is Mayo drops, whether it is Loki juice, or whether it is chelation. All these are false. There is no scientific truth in it, and as clinicians we should be confident to tell our patients not to fall prey for these alternative methods and follow scientific methods which are good enough. About chelation, at the end of the third slide, I want to show you that it is not recommended. It has been studied very well. Actually, it's allopathic medicine, not recommended routinely, and it's not adequately scientific treatment, and it is not safe in some cases. So on the left-hand top corner, you have birth, and on the right-hand bottom, you are a natural death. You draw a line like this. If you have a triple vessel coronary disease, you are rapidly approaching your premature death, but a good bypass surgery puts you back on the track. Double vessel disease, maybe you are approaching a premature death, but a good angioplasty can put you back on the track. But the yellow square in between actually is of reversal of coronary atherosclerosis. We all should strive hard for it. If we do it very well with conviction, then we may not be able to sending so many patients for angioplasties and bypass surgeries. We manage them early with chronic stable anginas, keep managing them well, check their parameters, check for safety. Of course, we are supposed to look for safety of that individual. And probably with this mini reversals as it is today, it can lead to a good risk. So what is the PEEP in the future? Look at these. Darapladib was tried. I was one of the principal investigators for this treatment of atherosclerosis. Darapladib was supposed to act on the core of the atheroma, but the trial failed. So probably the direction is still reducing the LDL to a great extent and trying for a reversal. It's not an easy, quick process because atheroma takes a long time to build up. The reversal also is going to take us a long time to reverse. But we have drugs like evolocumab, and you can have a 60% reduction on top of the statin levels when you give evolocumab. And the bottom you can see just at the end of 1 year, already the outcome graphs are separating. So here is something we are looking at where they combine these two drugs. Probably we may be able to achieve atherosclerosis regression, and many of our chronic stable anginas, early atheromas, or stubborn patients, sometimes who don't want to undergo these things. There are many such patients in India. We can manage them very aggressively and very well by medical management alone. So it's like this. The floor, actually, what you see in the slide is actually flat. But you feel it's a visual impression that they have their pits and you have to be very careful about it. No, it's a straight science. Be comfortable with it, be convinced about it, and follow it with conviction, and probably you'll get the results. One day we'll be able to export this technology of yogic way of life and other things to America. And one day Mr. Obama also will start looking like this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Hidamat. Do we have any questions, Madam Chairman, for Dr. Hidamat?
one is, what is the optimum period which should follow for the regression of atherosclerosis, number one. Number two, what is the failure rate? Number three, when you show yes, there is you have repeated a stress thallium perfusion scan and you showed that there is a lesion and after regression that has been dilated. But is it what we are seeing, or in the lifestyle changes, the collaterals which is open up, and by that means we see the normal stress thallium myocardial perfusion scan?
No, actually, being an interventional cardiologist, I'm too familiar with the collaterals, the thrombi, the spasms and other things. So these patients were studied clearly 15 months apart, before and after. And there were no collateral. Just a critical lesion, obviously critical, would cause a thallium defect, but next in the reversal that completely is normalized. So it is clearly related to mini regression as I showed you. Unfortunately, I could not show you the earlier thallium, which was clearly abnormal in this individual. Things can happen, like patient can stabilize, they can develop collaterals and other things. But the topic was regression, and I thought we should think of regression first, and development of collaterals, adding stability to patient, giving them a stable, angina-free, event-free lifestyle is a byproduct of our main aim of regression of atherosclerosis. There is going to be failure rate. We need to check out them every year with all the parameters, and treadmill tests, financial problem, or thallium stresses, which is a more better test than.
So do you agree with the primary prevention? Primary
Yes,
prevention?
see, primary prevention is all in lifestyle, and secondary prevention is with lifestyle plus some drugs. So everybody, a small child should also start preventing at home. So that's what the message would.
Sir, like I congratulate you for a very exciting work. It is really a fascinating thing to be seen that there is a reversal of atherosclerosis and all that. I just got a few queries that, like in your friend's example, that is angio was done in 97. Probably if we would have agreed for BiSAP we would have done bypass that time, and we would have said, oh, see, it's a great result now. Now, without bypass, is doing very well. So, is there any way we can know which critical triple vessel disease patient is unable to reversal of this thing? You have shown that yellow triangle, but what exactly comes in that yellow triangle? Like I'm in dilemma now, which patient I should subject for this reversal thing, or whether I should go away with CABG? Because now, whenever we are doing a beating heart CABG, whenever we open the artery, we see there is a torrential flow. Even though cardiologists have recorded that it's a 90% stenosis, but when we open the artery, there is a torrential flow. So we really don't know when there is such a large antegrade flow, whether this vessel really need a bypass, or whether we should do FFR in all those patients before subjecting them to any sort of revascularization.
No, question is perfect actually. Like earlier question was asked by one of the astute clinicians, 30% ejection fraction patient doing well, whether shouldn't send for ICD or not. It's a similar answer. If patient is asymptomatic, is able to do his day-to-day activities, is functional class 2 on reasonable medication, his stress test is positive above 120 heart rate per minute, or if he does a thallium, it's not a big area of ischemia. See, the risk of the patient is judged by clinicians. And finally, once we come to know, yes, triple vessel disease, very stable, then we should continue. Of course, then we should periodically check on them. We must know that a patient who is chronic stable angina and on regression treatment has a risk of developing a myocardial infarction 3%. And if you put a good stent or 3 stents in such a person, every stent carries a risk of 7%. So we are talking about 21% versus 3%. So it is of course it is clinical judgment, but based on this, if your heart stress is positive under the heart rate of 120, send them for mechanical treatment. If there are reasonably good symptoms, no symptoms, carrying on most of the activities, this is the patient, chronic stable patient who is few symptoms. This is and preferably good left ventricular function are the ones should be followed up. Once you decide on that, following them up, checking their symptoms, warning them, it's all a part of management of the on the part of the clinician.
Thank you. Could you make your query short, please?
Well, one of the slides you mentioned that rosuvastatin in the secondary prevention should be given about 15 months 40 milligram. What is the exact dose
No,
and duration?
that is for that particular slide. That is the experimental model of a carotid artery. But we should look at any dose of rosuvastatin which reduces the LDL level by 50% of the original. Okay, suppose you get a rosuvastatin dose of 20 milligrams and the person comes down from 120 to 60, that is a good dose for him, and then you should continue lifelong. It's not 15 months.
No more time.
Any other drug apart from rosuvastatin? Monoclonal antibodies are?
No, the evolocumab is still in under study, so we won't mention that. For the clinician, no.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Hidamat. And we'd like to thank the chairpersons, Dr. Lingam, Professor Aarti Lalchandani, and Dr.